It's so good to be together again for more stories of our ancestors. I have a small packet of papers that arose out of a big mess of various subject matter. Foremost, though, atop is something I wanted to deal with last and glossed over, unthinking, but thought of it thereafter, and we will look upon this now, insomuch as the sons of Louis I Blondeau and Marie-Louise Laframboise de Franchet. The first son I wanted to mention be Simon Blondeau, him having been present at the Battle of Seven Oaks and also present at the Battle of Grand Cocteau. So there you have it. That's one of the more interesting métis soldats that I ever heard of. Hence me brought that to your attention. His brother is Louis Blondeau II, the husband of Josette Desfond. Their son was Northwest Company interpreter Louis Blondeau III, the husband of Philomene Martel, the daughter of Marie Richaud and Joseph Martel. A métis family. Of course, other métis families are represented here on this paper, which is, as you see, just a real confusion of names and research into the origin of persons or relations of persons. Stands out is Josephine Lachemaudier and Aimable Nault, whose sons Benjamin Nault, husband of Emmanuel Hamelin, the daughter of Isabel Vandal and Solomon Hamelin, and his brother Roman Nault, the daughter of Philomene Landry, the wife of Roman Nault, the daughter of Genevieve Lalonde and Joseph Landry. Benjamin Lachemaudier is listed here, the son of Jean-Baptiste Lachemaudier and Marianne Gabory. So, in him, at this moment, we might return again to that concept of the fully native Aryan folk. We've talked extensively of those folk in the terms of women, except for the case of Josette Montreuil. But here we see the sons and daughters of Jean-Baptiste Lachemaudier and Marianne Gabory were full-fledged Indian folk, except in the instance of I believe it was her firstborn. She had been left alone, Miss Gabory, with some Indian family friends. And the more primitive of those First Nations folks, the Savages, you might say, tried to steal the baby. And that was the eldest brother, if I am not mistaken. The names of Jean-Baptiste Berard de Lepine and Julia Henry are here with their sons, Jean-Baptiste Lepine, Ambroise Lepine and Maxime Lepine. Ambrose Lepine was banished for the murder of Thomas Scott, him having been the lieutenant chief whom enforced that sentence to death passed by the provisional government in 1869, passed against the Orangeman Thomas Scott. So yeah, we won't go into this any further than that, for I do believe we might have looked at it prior, and it is not, it's worthy a look again. And here's the Hughes family. I won't lie, I kind of organized today's charts a little bit to make more sense for you. I can't begin to tell you how important this family is. In so much as, whilst I was researching Charlotte Hughes and James Hughes, James Hughes was a Northwest Company bourgeoisie. He was chief factor at Fort Augustus, which is Edmonton. He had been born in 1771 and died 1853-07-13 Lachine, Quebec, age 82. His native wife was Apslooke Nan-Touche Corbeau, a Crow woman, whom had been born in North Dakota in 1740. Her dying estimate 1770, perhaps. I don't know. That here this could be a different birth estimate of 1770. So there's like 30 years between those two. It says here though that they were married in 1795 in the Northwest Territories. He was age 24. She was age 25. James Hughes, chief factor, Fort Augustus, which is Edmonton, was the son of Charlotte Martel de Brouage, whom had been born in Quebec 1747, and her husband was Jacques James Hughes of Wales, born there in 1738. So we don't hear much of Welsh folk. I thought he may be Scot, but I'll keep this chart aside because it is an important chart. Their children, the firstborn son, James William Hughes, it says here born in America, of course. Charlotte, the daughter, was the wife of Pierre Vandel, her being born 1796. And we'll deal with their children or son thereafter. Nancy Hughes, born 1803, is said to have been married to Patrick Small, son of Northwest Company, son of Hudson Bay Company clerk Patrick Small and a Cree woman. So we'll repeat that. Nancy Hughes, wife of Patrick Small, son of Hudson Bay clerk Patrick Small and a Cree woman. And the sister is Catherine Hughes, born in St. Boniface, 1799. I have different markings here. We won't go more into it. The brother Guy Hughes was born in Montreal. He died in 1823. So we've talked much about how this young Crow woman holds such a key position in the unspoken, unwritten heritage of our nation. And I adjure you to please look more into our native grandmothers. Antoine Francois Vandal, son of Pierre Vandal and Charlotte Hughes, the daughter of Apslooke and Nan-Touche Corbeau, a Crow woman. Him married Isabelle Beauchemin, and their son was also named Antoine Vandal. Our ancestor, whom married Alphonse Henry de Honor, the daughter of Marie-Leone de Dunay, wife of Alexis Henry, her the daughter of François Lunet and Louise Sarcisse, an Indian woman. Now, the sister of Alphonsine Henry de Honor, daughter of Marie-Leone de Dunay, daughter of Louise Sarcisse, an Indian woman, was Marguerite Leone de Delaunay, the wife of Jean-Baptiste Letendre, the son of Okemawaska-Wickenham, Jean-Baptiste Letendre de Patoche, and his wife, Josette Corbeau. So again, we encountered the word Corbeau, and that is merely a French translation or a French interpretation or a French saying for crow. I tried to edit these videos at the beginning, and it was a lot of trouble and confusion, or I would put maps on here to show you the dispersion of the First Nations that you might more fully understand. Moreover, there are pictures of our family that I talk of, and all through history you can find a lot more online if you just look. The sister of Jean-Baptiste Letendre, Agathe Letendre, was the wife of William Alexander Henry, and their brother Louis Letendre was the husband of Marie Julie Halley. And that is almost royalty for us. I mean, they're very plain folk, you must understand. They lived on the open range. As I've mentioned, our people had an understanding of the unspoken common tongue shared with the animal kingdom. If you're able to notice, pay attention and watch. It doesn't matter what the species is, all the other animals seem to understand each other and have an ability to interrelate on an unspoken, yet not calling it a psychic level. It's merely a shared understanding. It is what it is, right? I was looking forward to talking this chart. yet I know not where to begin. I have made a big deal out of the Archambault name, mostly because it's a kind of a discovery for me that I found out whilst sharing these readings with you on how strongly interrelated that first French family was with the First Nations through the generations and across space and time here in Canada and however far south of the medicine line our folk did establish themselves, to say all the way down to Texas, but we have no real lasting memory down there. Our people mostly being a plains folk. So maybe that's why we don't hear so much about our mountain kin. In them mountain kin of the Appalachians. Pierre Archambault was the husband of Marie-Charlotte Lebel, an Abenaki Menominee woman. Of course, we know she was a Quebecois woman. Their daughter, Marie-Charlotte Archambault, was an Abenaki clan mother. So not only had she been accepted amongst the tribal members of the local community, but insomuch she was a clan mother, which incurs some kind of more, a much wider influence over different tribes at different places. For clans, you see, existed in all the different tribes in all the different places, yet they be the same clans, something as a totem. We see here the serial chain of Josette Decoteau and Red Bear I, the parents of Marie-Marguerite or Marie Decoteau of the Great Chippewan Nation. The wife first is Josette Montreuil, and the wife thereafter voyageur Antoine Legrau LeCompte of the Red Lake Nation, Abenaki. No, of the Red Lake Nation. Member? So, voyageur Antoine Legrau LeCompte was a member of the Red Lake Nation, and there is a star here saying there is a story to his name, yet not much more. Writ here, it says 1835 Pembina, and as said, Pembina is the center of the continent, and it was the center of our Meakutas bison hunting tradition. That is long year before the Red River Colony established itself, and so on. So let's get back to that serial relationship of Josette Decoteau and Red Bear I, him also having married Marie-Charlotte Archambault, Abenaki clan mother, her also having married Louis Joseph Settelot dit Montreuil, son of Jean-Baptiste Settelot dit Montreuil, and Marie-Marguerite Poirier des Deslongés, and the son of Louis Joseph Settelot dit Montreuil and Marie-Charlotte Archambault, Abenaki clan mother, was Joseph Montreuil, noted here as being not a, but the Warrior of Pembina, and him also noted as being the adopted son of Red Bear I, whom was or became the husband of Marie-Charlotte Archambault Abenaki clan mother. In this sense, we see that Joseph Montreuil, the warrior of Pembina, was a half-brother of Marie-Marguerite Decoteau of the Great Chippewan Nation. This explanation of these families that most of you probably seemingly really don't care of, to me are vitally important because they are the sinew of the muscles and ultimately form not just specific organs in context, but mayhaps form the limbs, for surely we be more than a mere tree trunk. We being made, after all, in the image of God, male and female. Now, the adopted son of Red Bear I, Joseph Montreuil, the warrior of Pembina, took for a wife Isabella Giizis Mooka'am Blondeau, the daughter of Equaywid and Piwanakam Ogichida. And we've dealt with those folk. They're part of that chart I attached to these readings. Isabella Giizis Mooka'am and Joseph Montreuil, warrior of Pembina, were the parents not only of Joseph Montreuil, the first husband of Marie Decoteau of the Great Chippewan Nation, but also of his brother, Alex Montreuil, born 1829. Him was the captain of the Indian police. In that, we must assume there is more association, not so much to our Canadian heritage, but to our American heritage. For we see here that the wife of Alex Montreuil was Margaret Delia, born 1841, the daughter of Apistina Adonis and Wakamamana Adonis, Sioux Indians. Another note here, as said when I began talking of this page, is the name Antoine Archambault, the husband of Marie-Charlotte Forget, 1721 to 1791, them being the mother and father of Marie Joseph, called a Cree Amerindian woman. Her the wife of Etienne de Guire, and them being the parents of Josette, Cree woman, a Cree Amerindian woman, the wife or the mother. Trust me, there's a little confusion to this. I shall go more into it, but again, it's really wonderful to see how not just the one daughter, but the granddaughter herself were called First Nations, probably after moving west, definitely from being born west. This one again relates to the same people we were talking about, but will be more exciting because we begin back maybe apparently before time began, but really it would be about the 1600s when we're talking about Giizis Mooka'am, the walking sun, father of Giizis Mooka'am, the father of Misk Wanabagan, and Uchigun, Ojibwas, them of the Reindeer Dynasty. Now, Uchigun, Ojibwas was the father of Chief Wabugig Ojibwe, who had been born in Michigan about 1625 and was the father of Chief Equaywid Ojibwe, the father of Chief Joseph Ojibwe Bajasswa, born about 1680, the father of Uana Waabasha, born about 1704 in Minnesota, died about 1792. When Una Wabasha, the daughter of Chief Joseph Ojibwe Wabasha, was the wife of Chief Nokanoke Kawabada Broken Tooth, the son of Bajasswa and Claire Equaywid Ahdik Songab, and we have talked of her and him. Before we get into the son of Una Obabasha, we will talk of the siblings here briefly of Chief Noke Kadwabida Broken Tooth. Firstly, we see the name of Tehom Good, matriarch of the Iron Confederacy. The Iron Confederacy is like the Blackfoot Confederacy, but it concerns chiefly and principally the Cree Nation, which only adds an incredible depth of interest to not just this lady, but her whole family. For that family envelops the entirety of the Midwest at that time, incorporating not just the Indian Confederacy, perhaps the Cree and the Assiniboine and their fellows, but the Ojibwe, not so much Chippewa, but somewhat, the Sioux, all enemies. So these marriages are really, really important. Now, Tehom Good was first married to John Charles Joseph Bottineau Sr., an important fur trapper family. She was secondly married to Peter Grant of Lachine, a Northwest Company fur trader from Scotland. And he had prior been married to Macquarie Ants, who we just talked about. The sibling Tehom Good and Chief Nokanoke Kawabada Broken Tooth is, of course, Unwasis, the wife of Cuthbert James Grant, the Warden of the Plains. Now we'll get back to Chief Mamangazida Luns, the son of Chief Noke Kawabida Broken Tooth, and Win Una Wabasha. Chief Mamangazida is suggested to be the father of Titimeg, Okimaskawu, called Whitefish, her the wife of Joseph Antoine Desjardins, 1727 to 1792, the father and mother of Joseph M. Desjardins, whom married Josephette Suzette Machiki Post Cardinal, the daughter of Louise Frobisher and Joseph Cardinal. Now, Francois Desjardins, Chief Payassis, is listed here as the son of Joseph M. Desjardins and Josephette Suzette Machiki Post Cardinal. But, you know, these are just a few of many children of these families that are more thoroughly interrelated together and with other families that we've discussed. This is what I mean about fibers. So that was an interesting chart to talk about, and we see it here again. Although we won't go into it quite so in depth, for we've already done that. But it shows a little bit differently the same thing said. We'll begin again in the 16th century with Giizis Mooka'am, the walking son, the father of Giizis Mooka'am, and the two lines, of course, Misk Wandibagan, the father of Mitigulakosh, the father of Shawanagijik, the father of Wajiki Weshki, the father of Wajawad Ajakoa, the father of Machiwejan Bajasswa, the father of Red Lake Nation Grand Chief, and Bajasswa. So that be the one line. The other line, of course, we have listed here, be the line of Uchigun Ojibwe. Two separate charts produced, again, remember I told you, when dealing with this family, if you're not careful, you'll spend months going in circles, because in places, as with Chief Mamangonzida, Loons what? It doesn't say. There is a lot of confusion involved where fathers become sons and grandfathers become grandsons. So beware. Be diligent. Uchiga Ojibwe was the father. Firstly, Chief Joseph Ojibwe of Wabasha. Now, we see here, of course, a later edition saying Uchiga Ojibwe was the father of Chief Bugajig, the father of Chief Bujig Ojibwe, the father of Chief Naikwad Ojibwe, the father of Chief Joseph Ojibwe Wabasha, the father of Winuna Owabasha, the wife of Chief Noke Kababida Broken Tooth, the father of Chief Mamangonzida, the father of Titimeg Okima, the father of Titimeg Okimaskul, Dit Whitefish, the wife of Joseph Antoine Desjardins, 1727 to 1792, the parents of Joseph Desjardins, the husband of Josephette Suzette Machikapus Cardinal, the daughter of Louise Frobisher and Joseph Cardinal. So that was pretty much the same, except we also see the names of Cuthbert James Grant, the husband of Oasis, and Oasis brother, Red Bear the First, them the siblings of Chief Noke Kawabita, Broken Tooth. And why is that important? Well, because those three are the children of Bajasswa and Claire Equaywid Songab. Bajasswa, the brother of, or the also the husband of Waba Ojig. Waba Ojig. Okay, there's confusion. It's not confusion, it's just unfinished. The lady Claire Equaywid Songab has been discussed with us before, for she is the wife of Atetanchk Kawamushka Vahapasha Adalones. And their daughter is Marie-Marguerite Decoteau Delanois. And again, we see here she is the wife of Peter Grant of Lachine, the Northwest Company fur trader from Scotland, whom went on to marry Tehomgood A, the sister of Marie-Marguerite Decoteau Delaunay. And Tehomgood again is the matriarch of the Iron Confederacy, and her was prior wed to John Charles Joseph Bottineau, who has a name you should look up. You may think it's boring to listen to me sometimes, and I know it is, but really, no one else is talking about these people like I do, and to me this is really an incredible storyline that we're looking at. Once more, we're going to look at that brick, that serial marriage, that love story that involves so much bloodshed. This is one of the defining moments that mayhaps not defined us politically or economically, but hath much ado in concerns of our spiritual nation. We see listed here the Sarcisse woman Josette Sarcisse Carey was first wed to Jean-Baptiste Bruno. She was next wed to Montreal fur trader and Hudson Bay Company fur trader from Fort Edmonton, Jean-Baptiste Dumont. And she was after married or related with Joseph Paul Durand. We know, of course, that Jean-Baptiste Bruno gave her up, and she took up with Jean-Baptiste Dumont, the buffalo hunters. And he was back in Montreal, and while he was away, for it was common that no one really could survive alone, especially the white man, whom depended entirely upon their Indian wives, if you would call them wives. It was common for the Hudson Bay chief actors to abandon their wives and their children and go back home to Scotland and England and forget all about them and leave them to their own. Hence, when Jean-Baptiste Dumont finished his business in the east and returned west, he found her with Joseph Paul Durand, and he did not want to surrender her, but there was bloodshed, and was born thereafter the children of Jean-Baptiste Dumont of Josette Sarcisse Carey, the Sarcisse woman. Gabriel, Jean-Baptiste, and Isidore Escapade Dumont, whom wed Louise Laframboise, and her second son was Chef Mathis Gabriel Dumont. What we haven't talked about prior is the son of Jean-Baptiste Bruno and Josette Sarcisse Carey. Him be Jean-Baptiste Bruno Kissy Kawaskap Bruno, born 1780s. He married Louise Montreuil and Suzanne, a Salteau woman. The son of Louise Montreuil and Jean-Baptiste Kissy Kawaskap Bruno was Michael Joachim Bruno, whom wed Marie-Catherine Ledouceur, the daughter of Josephette Suzette Cardinal and Joseph Ledouceur. And that is an amazing family of voyageurs. I told you, do not underestimate the Cardinal Ledouceur, Desjardins, families, because those are principal families that just made no real great historic contributions into the economic or the political nature of our people, although our heritage never did matter. Nor does it matter now. We see here that the Irishman Benjamin Alexander Frobisher took up with a Creek Indian woman named Marguerite. The Creek Indians, again, were more here from Georgia. Her died in the Northwest Territories. Perhaps they met in the east and she guided him west. Just because you're an Indian and a guide doesn't mean you've been there before. The whole land, the whole territory might be new to you, but because you are an Indian, you are born and bred to survival in the wilderness. Hence, nothing is new to you, especially if you could speak the common tongue. If you can't speak the common tongue, then how in the hell do you think you could talk with the Great Spirit? Not saying that the Great Spirit speaks to us through the common tongue, but if you're incapable of comprehending the common tongue, then, something a little bit higher, like communicating with the Great Spirit, might be, something you shouldn't do and stick with talking to people. The brick here seems to focus on John Thomas Sayer, an independent fur trader from England, North Yorkshire, who may have traded with the Northwest Company. Him dying in Montreal in 1818. He was first wed to Obama Uno Kwa Nancy Ahdik Ojibwe, a Sioux chief woman, whom was a shareholding partner with the Northwest Company. But Sayer abandoned her to return to the east Trois-Rivières, where he married Elizabeth McPherson, and she bare he a daughter named Louise Marie Emilie Sayre. Also here we see Josette Suzette Josette Frobisher, the daughter of Creek Indian Marguerite and Benjamin Alexander Frobisher. He died in Athabasca, 1819, with Alberta. Her, Josephette Suzette Josette Frobisher, wed Guillaume Sayre, born 1794, 1799, died 1868. And if I'm not mistaken, we're dealing now with the gentleman who was involved with the free trade war called the Sayre Trial. And if you're unfamiliar with our native or Métis history as fur traders, you must look that up. It is a pertinent moment, especially since it is a moment in our lifetime when the father of Martyr Saint Louis David Desbriel stands up and defends the free trade. Him was Louis Riel de Miller of Sienne, the river, I reckon, in Red River settlement. Guillaume William Sayre was the brother of Julius Sayre, Chichikichiwanakui, and their brother, Chief John Charles Sayre of Wisconsin, 1782 to 1838, was the husband of Marguerite Marie-Marguerite, an Ojibwe woman born in New Jersey, USA, 1799, dying in 1834 in Ontario, Canada. Thereof, we have enjoyed reading this together because we see, as said, that people traveled unrestrained and uninhibited. And that's all over and done with, I assure you. Again, I'm sorry these words are all mushy for you to read, but I hold these charts up so you can see the patterns. We see here Alistair McGillis Sr. of Scotland was the father of Alisher McGillis Jr., the father of John Donald McGillis, the father of Sergeant Donald Banmore, Big Fair McGillis, of the King's Regiment of New York. He was, and his wife Mary MacDonald, the daughter of Anne and Lachlan MacDonald, the son of Hugh MacDonald and Mary, were United Empire loyalists whom fought with the British against the Americans during the American Revolution, and after the win by Washington's American faction, the Brits had to, they buggered off across the Medicine Line into Ontario or Quebec or other places. Captain Halley would be one whom went west. Now, Hugh MacDonald, the grandfather of Mary McDowell, the wife of Sergeant Donald Banmore McGillis, Him was the son of Angus Dow MacDonald, the son of Angus MacDonald, the son of Lachlan MacDonald, the son of Dougal MacDonald of Clan Ranald, aka Dougal McRanald, whom was assassinated. And more is not said of that. We do know that Sergeant Donald Benmora McGillis and Mary McDowell are mine own ancestors. On this chart are also mentioned Jean-Baptiste Pothier, 1466. Oh, those are numbering systems that we use when we are doing genealogical research according to ascendancy and descendancy of in certain individuals or principles in charts. And we see here Jean-Baptiste Pothier was the husband of Marie-Etienne Beauvais d'Ait Saint-Jean. Their daughter, Jean-Marguerite Pothier Potier, was the wife of Nicolas Vaness dit Verfeul-Fille. And their daughter was Marie Joseph Vaness dit Verfeul, the wife of François Xavier Fleury. And their son was Francois Fleury Mitron, whom wed Judith Poitras Trechemin, the daughter of Madeleine Banhiac dit La Montaigne, and Francois Joseph Poitras, the son of Louis Poitras, and Madeleine ou Marguerite Chevalier, the sister of Jean-Baptiste Chevalier, first wed to Marie-François Meron, and later wed to Marie-François Frances Alavoni. Now, the son of Francois Fleury Mitron and Judith Poitras Trechemin was a voyageur with the Northwest Company and the Hudson Bay Company named Louis Joseph Fleury, who took for wife a woman of the Gros Ventre named Joseph Vandal, her the daughter of Angelique Sauteau of Wisconsin, the wife of Antoine Belly Vandal-Fille, and the son of Louis Joseph Fleury and Josephette Gros Ventre Vandal was Patrice Joseph Fleury, a captain of a Dizien at Nan-Touche, who was on the other side of the river when the battle occurred. Him was the husband of Agatha Wilkie, the sister of Madeleine Wilkie, the wife of Chef Métis Gabriel Dumont. Also listed here is a different line born of Jean-Baptiste Pothier and Marie-Etienne Beauvais d'Ait Saint-Jean, and that be of their daughter Marie-François Potier, whom was married to Jacques Chamillard, and their daughter Geneviève Chamillard was married to François Lalonde, son of Joseph Lalonde and Marie Legere of Detroit. And much will learn together in time of Detroit, whereat were whites, First Nations, Black African Americans, amongst the whites were Aryans, were Dutch, were French, were Scots, were Irish, and slavery was practiced by all equally with no disregard, and slavery most often referred to terms of fiefdoms, or the legalese involved in working off, say, an engagement for so many years. The black African slave trade involved with owning people for life was a thing that happened in the Americas, and it was John Castro, a black African man, whom took possession of another soul for life first, before all others, establishing that practice thereafter. But that is by and far a completely different story, far, far off course here from what we're talking of. We'll return to Detroit, whereat lived Marie Legrau and her husband Joseph Lalonde, the son of Jean-Baptiste Lalonde and Jean or Jean Gervais. And their son was Francois Lalonde, the husband of Geneviève Chemelard, the daughter of Marie-François Potier et Jacques Chemelard. Now, Francois Lalonde, the son of Francois Lalonde and Geneviève Chemelard, took for wife Marie-Josephette Merlot, the daughter of Marie-Joseph Turpin and Jean-Baptiste Merlot. And their daughter was Geneviève Lalonde, the wife of Joseph Denis Landry, the parents of Adelaide Landry, the wife of Thomas Stanislaus Landry, my great-grandpa, great-grandpa, great-grandpa. So, we see an introduction here to the Cartier name, which we will talk of due order. Cartier being the father of us, or not just what you think Canada be now, but of us people, we Canadian people. So Marie-Louise Cartier was the first wife of Nicolas Landry, producing no children. He was thereafter married to Marguerite Terrell de Jolicoeur, whom bare he, Joseph Denis Landry, the husband of Geneviève Lalonde. Nicolas Landry was the son of Antoine Landry and Anne Cormier of Acadia. That line leadeth to the Acadians, to the Huguenots, and to the St. Bartholomew Day Massacre, insomuch as concerns us. But we lived on, eh? So here's an introduction to what we're going to talk of the Carrier bloodline. There is a woman listed here, Jeanne Verdon, the wife of Francois Couteau de la Veltrie. Her was the daughter of Etiennette Monaghy, the daughter of François Cartier, the daughter of Jehan La Moine, the daughter of Catherine La Moulin, the wife of Guillaume Fournier, the son of Guillaume Fournier, and Geneviève Caron, the daughter of Charles Labrec and Louise Colombe. Now, Jean Le Moulin, the great-grandfather of Jean Verdon, was the wife of Jean Cartier. And Francois Cartier, the daughter, or the grandmother of Jean Verdon, was married to Jean Monnet, and their daughter was Etiennette Monnet, the daughter of Jean Verdon. And the father of Jean Verdon, the daughter of Etienne Montreuil, was Guillaume Pelletier, the son of Pierre Pelletier, and his wife was Jean Moulin, the daughter of Colonel and Moulin. So here is a perfect example of that imagined or made-up name, Colonel, or Montague. Here used in relation to the name Moulin as the father of Jean Moulin. Why not just say we don't know who the parents are, they are of unknown origins? Because sometimes the names are gone from, say, markers, grave markers, but dates remain. So they do their best, you know. It's not just from books, but it comes from markers, grave markers. We see here the husband of Jean Moulin, the daughter of Colonel Moulin, was Pierre Pelletier, the son of Thomas Le Pelletier, the son of Thomas Pelletier, and Mademoiselle Colonel de Montague. But again, we see here that the son, Thomas Le Pelletier, is also married to Marguerite Colonel de Montague, the daughter of Mademoiselle de Montague and Thomas de Montague. Hence, we have mention of persons whose names are not fully established, yet fully suggested and best exemplified as such, as are probably recorded on markers in the Old World. Now the fun part on this page begins with René Cartier of unknown origins in France, Padre, or senior, and his wife Guillemette Baudouin. Their son, René Cartier, was the superintendent of finance for France under Charles VII. Basically, he was a tax collector for king and council. His wife was Michel Bouvier. And their son was Jean-Jacques Cartier, whom wed Guillaume Baudon, and their son was Jean Cartier, the husband of Jean Lemoine, the parents of François Cartier, whom wed Jean Monaghy, the parents of Etienne Monaghy, whom wed Guillaume Pelletier, whom were the parents of Jean Verdon, the wife of François Couture de la Valtrie. Now, we see here that the firstborn son of Jean-Jacques Cartier, the son of René Cartier, the superintendent of finance for France under Charles VII, was Jacques Jamet Cartier, Chancellor of France under Charles VIII, and him was assassinated. His first wife was Marie Baudouin, and his second wife was Ghislaine Josette. And his son, albeit, according to this chart, I know not which was the mother, yet the son be Jacques Cartier, navigator, explorer of the St. Lawrence, sea captain, and master pilot. He had been commissioned by the King Francis I of France to go to the New World with 3 ships and explore the Caspe Peninsula, whereat he planted a cross. And I'm telling you folks, if I had the time to edit it, we would look at some nice art that I've found of Jacques Cartier painting across Basque Bay. Is one of the, if not the defining moment in the establishment of not France, God no. Take for example, Nouveau France was consumed by Great Britain. Definitely not the First Nations, definitely not the Métis, the Miakutas, or the White Indians, not the Americans, but, you know, us as a people, our family, because we are born in that moment, because we are born in that man, whom at that moment is re-established our European blood on the soil that the Solutrean originators of our great race first trod some 40 or 60,000 years prior, ere the recession of the glaciation, hitherto called, say, the deluge. We're running late, so we're not going to get into a whole bunch of more of these charts. I did put 2 aside that I wanted to talk about at the end, merely because they are small small bricks in the wall, so to say, but we all know that in insignificance is greatness, for in little people come big ideas. This chart be dealing with the daughters of Magdalene Small, the daughter of Magdalene Robertson and Patrick Small of Leonock. The first daughter, Charlotte Small, no more is mentioned. The youngest daughter, Nancy Small, is mentioned to have wed John MacDonald of Garth LaBrosse Croche, a Northwest Company partner and a member of the Beaver Club. So, an important man, and their children were Elizabeth Eliza, the Honorable Roland MacDonald, and Madeline Small Perry. Of course, the brother born betwixt them be Patrick Small, him first married to Amelia McGillis, the daughter of Mary Coon and Duncan McGillis, afterwards married to Nancy Hughes. The most valuable thing I can talk of at this moment concerning this chart that comes to mind is the fact that there are a great many people throughout the Midwest that have no idea how deeply rooted they are genealogically speaking. Many of these people just take it for granted that because their forefathers did not so much talk of their First Nations, Métis, their Indian heritage, that they are white descendants of the whole thing that happened with Baron Maurice von Hirsch and the Northwest Atlantic Company, whereof the whole of the nation was peopled with what is referred to as peasants in sheepskin coats. But no. And the small name is one of those names that stands out. There are a lot of other ones. Smith. This chart again is just another little look at that brick that we began with, where we're talking about Joseph Montreuil, Warrior of Pembina, the husband of Isabelle Bottineau of the Great Dakota Nation. Giizis Mooka'am, and the Abenaki Menominee women, Marie-Charlotte Lebel and clan mother Marie-Charlotte Archambault. God be with them. Thank Christ, we are now drawing to an end today. I had hoped maybe to talk of this and perhaps of this, but you know, tomorrow's another day. God bless you, one and all. Brethren, be well.